Kamen Rider Geats Episode 6, Chance Meeting, Part 5, Reversal Boost. So, this episode concludes the duo arc that started last week, but not only that, we also see the elimination of Morio in this episode, leaving us with only 4 riders remaining in the Desire Grand Prix. And I get the feeling moving forward that these 4 that we've got left are going to be our main heroes in the story moving forward. So it's really interesting that we were introduced to all of these different riders at the start of the Grand Prix, but now we've only got 4 left, and it seems like these 4 that we're following are going to be our main characters until they're eliminated later down the line. So it's very interesting with what they're doing in the show, but not only that, it seems like they're wrapping up like another arc within itself. Like, this must be the introductory arc, because from next week's episode preview, it seems like they're facing off against the final boss, because the next episode is called Chance Meeting Part 6, Last Boss and Kick the Can. So what does that mean? It means a lot of things, but apart from that, let's talk about this week's episode, because no point talking about next week's episode, but let's talk about this week's episode. So, Kamen Rider Geats Episode 6. This episode continues the whole duo's story arc and concludes in this episode where we have Mary using his card to switch partners. And who does he switch partners with? Well, it's none other than Buffa. So that means Keiwa is partnered with the pumpkin dude, and Keiwa has to learn to get along with his partner. I say learn to get along with his partner. He just needs to figure out how to work in sync with the guy, which is a really funny scene where they're training on the beach, and Keiwa does the whole henshin pose, and as he's henshining and sort of slowly powering up, you see Pump Jack just run in there and start fighting the Yamato ready to go. That got a laugh out of me, because he was like, I'm not waiting, I'm just going to run in there and fight. Now, Geats in this episode does have a really cool moment where he returns the boost power up to Keiwa, because Geats says, hey, I don't want you to lose and come up with a shit excuse, so I'm going to give this back. But he gets it back, Mary's watching, and Mary, being the scumbag that he is, which I should bring this up now because I'm probably going to forget it, but we learn a little bit about his past. We find out that he used to be a casino dealer, but a dirty one, and he fled the country for his crimes, so he's kind of a wanted criminal. And when the others confront him on it, he's like, oh, I learned my lesson, I'm a changed man now. And Geats was like, I think one of them said, wait, he never was arrested, so how can we tell that he is changed? And he's like, and Mary's like, whatever, dude, I'm changed now, that's in the past. So even though he was known to be like a shady blackjack dealer, Mary was, you still see that in that episode where it's speculated that he rigged the lottery to become Buffa's partner. So we never get that confirmed or not, because it's kind of counteracted, because Buffa ends up switching partners last minute near the end of the episode, which was really cool. So he ends up becoming Keiwa's partner again. So that was really awesome as well near the end, where you think that like Mary's gonna have like a really strong partner on his team, and Buffa just stands there and he waits for sort of Keiwa to come in and find his way to where Mary and Buffa is. And then they sort of get the kill together, leaving Mary and Pumpkin Dude to get eliminated. Although it's just mostly Mary, because Pumpkin was like an AI. And like I mentioned earlier, where Pumpkin was training, just running in there, doing his own thing, it reminded me of like terrible like AIs from like Resident Evil 5 when you do co-op on those games. They're the vibes I was getting. But speaking of Buffa, we kind of learn a little bit more about his past and his friend Toro that was in the Grand Desire Prix. We find out that he had a friend that we sort of saw last week that was killed by Yamato, but we find out that this friend called Toro was in the Grand Desire Prix. He was killed, and during that time, Buffa was only a citizen. So this could explain why he doesn't like Kamen Riders, because I'm guessing that either Geats didn't do anything to help him, or most Kamen Riders were in it for himself during that during the Grand Desire Prix. So we still don't know why he hates Kamen Riders, but I'm guessing it's something to do with this flashback that they're probably going to expand on later down the line. Now, in this episode, we also got to see Zombie Boost Form and Boost Zombie Form. Boost Zombie Form, I'm not a fan of. I feel like the red clashes too much with the purple, but zombie boost form, shit, that is a mouthful to say. I really like that design with like the lower purple parts, but the part where it's just like the chest piece sort of going with the helmet looks cool, but I feel like the colors are too clashing in my opinion. But jumping back to Mary in this episode, the guy was kind of a scumbag, or is a scumbag, because he steals Keiwa's boost power up, and sort of they have to have a competition to see who gets it, and when playing the game, sort of run and see who can grab it first. He sort of kicks him while he's down to use like full force to get it off him. So this guy's like a cheater that will do anything to win, which kind of shows from his background story when he used to be a blackjack dealer, which I kind of wish we got to expand on, but I guess not. The dude's out of the game now. But in this episode we also learned that when they retire from the game is they go back to living their normal lives but don't have any of their memories. Now, if you remember what Keiwa's been doing this entire show, he's sort of been making video diaries. And if these characters are sort of leaving the show and sort of living their normal lives, I feel like maybe sometime later down the line, that video diary is going to get broadcast, and those characters who are eliminated and are living their normal lives right now are going to remember from what Keiwa has been writing in his video diaries, or recording in his video diaries. So I feel like that's going to be a plot point later down the line in the episode. But either way, this episode, kind of a lot of fun. I kind of wish we got to expand more on Mary, because they just said, oh, this dude was a shady blackjack dealer, and then that's all. And they kind of sort of expand on that by showing how dirty he was playing in the game, or how dirty he has been playing in the games. But it doesn't bother me too much, because I feel like he's not the main rider that we're going to be focusing on. He was just sort of there to set up with what happens in the games and what happens when you're eliminated, because like I mentioned earlier, the main four are the ones who are remaining in the game, and they're the characters we're probably going to be following until the end of the show. So we'll see what happens with that. But either way, Kamen Rider Geats episode 6, I really enjoyed it, had a lot of fun watching it, and I can't wait to see where the show is going to go next. With that said, I think I'm going to bring this video to a close. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I will see you guys later. Peace out, take care, bye.